Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Diamond in the Rough podcast. A few rough-looking guys talking about much better-looking guys on a baseball diamond. All sorts of MLB news, trade rumors, hot takes, cold takes, you name it. We got your boy NMR Sports here, chilling with my man Michael and Nick Thury Alt. Yes, sir, that is the exact way you pronounce it, no matter what he tells you in my stream. And yeah, we're going to be talking about some of the most overrated players in the National League in this episode of our podcast. Say what's up, boys.
How's it going, everyone?
My man Nick, you
Glad
got
to be back.
What's going on, boys?
All right.
What's going on, boys?
Not a whole lot, man. We're just chilling here, having a grand old time.
I feel like I haven't seen you guys in ages. It's good to be back.
Yeah, right. It's great to be back, man. It's been a hot minute, but yeah, I'm ready to remember who is a catcher and who's a pitcher today. That's the goal. All right. If you missed out on the last episode, we will have the American League one posted here as well. It's the first episode of a 2-episode series here talking about the most overrated. If you enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe, follow us on any podcast platform you like to listen to. We also have a Twitter and Instagram if you want to check those out. They're all going to be under the DIR podcast at. All right, so with that being said and that out of the way, we are going to hop right into it, starting with the National League West today. We're going to start with, why don't we start with the Arizona Diamondbacks? Possibly, if the Pirates didn't exist, I might have thought they were the worst team in baseball last year. And in part, it's due to this man's performance. I think you know who I'm going with here. I think we're all going to choose him. Ketel Marte. It's pretty easy to look at Ketel Marte's career and look at what he did in 2019 and realize that it was more than likely a fluke season. One of the best BABIPs of all time, meaning he basically, every time he hit the ball, he got lucky in 2019 and got an MVP season out of it. Didn't end up winning the MVP because of another guy who might appear on this list, but Ketel Marte, let's look at the numbers here. Now in 2019, he was pretty damn good. But let's look at his career numbers. I'm just talking OPS here, which is a pretty good way to determine a guy's hitting statistics. 753 when he came into the league in 2015, 610 OPS in 2016, 740 OPS 2017, 2018, 768. So we're looking at a career, 700s guy, about league average. 2019, 981 OPS. That is a Mike Trout number. That is how good that number is. And then 2020 back down to earth at its 732 OPS. So basically, if it weren't for Cody Bellinger and Christian Yelich, my man Ketel Marte would have had an MVP last year, but it looks like, statistically speaking, he's probably coming back down to earth, and I don't think he's the guy we saw in 2019, which is why I chose him as my overrated. What do you guys pick?
I also picked Ketel Marte because I did look at his career stats, and that 2019 was just absurd. And I'm on his baseball savant page again, and he's almost as bad at barreling up balls as J.P. Crawford is. And I think J.P. Crawford's going to become a running joke for us.
Yeah.
But Ketel Marte is in the 13th percentile in barrel percentage, and he's in the 3rd percentile in walks. So that's just not good. I mean, he doesn't walk and he doesn't strike out because he's in the 99th percentile in strikeouts. But, yeah, I mean, when you don't barrel up balls, you're not going to hit all that well. So I would not be surprised if that 2019 was a fluke.
Yeah, it was definitely lucky. He also batted .329 if you like batting average compared to his career .282 batting average. Just an absolute ridiculous 2019 from him.
Yeah. I agree with everything you guys said about Ketel Marte and how he definitely is overrated going into the 2021 season. But my pick for the Diamondbacks was kind of a shocker because I thought he was going to do well with a new team, but it's Madison Bumgarner. I think it was a fluke just because it was an off year. It was 2020, 60-game season. But Madison Bumgarner before this season had never had an ERA above 4. His highest ERA was a couple years ago, I believe. I think it was 3.90 ERA. But this year it was 6.48, which is honestly really bad. One of the highest ERAs of a qualifying starting pitcher this year. which is why he's my pick.
Yeah, he was honestly. I liked this signing by them, and I was kind of jealous that he didn't go to the Angels last year. I thought about picking him if
Yeah,
Ketel Marte
yeah.
didn't exist. But man, a 6.48 ERA after his career ERA is 3.2. It definitely does seem like an outlier, but if you do look at his last 4 years, his ERA has gone up slowly but surely from a 2.74 in 2016 to 3.32 the next season, 3.26. It kind of went down a little, but then back to 3.9. So I think he'd be a serviceable pitcher when he comes back next year. Maybe he had too many rodeo accidents. One too many of those can really take a toll on your career.
I would agree with that. I almost went with
Yeah.
Matt Bum, but I mean he's up there in age, and I just thought that Ketel Marte's 2019 was so absurd that I had to pick him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I think that's good enough for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now we're going to hop into the Colorado Rockies, which is a very interesting team to say the least. It's really hard to determine if someone's overrated on this squad because they do play in Coors Field, so it boosts a lot of their hitting stats, and it also means their pitching looks terrible no matter how good they are. Like a guy like German Marquez may not be elite on the Rockies, but could possibly be an elite pitcher on another team. So when it comes down to it, really the best combination of highly rated but not as good as the other two guys on the team is Charlie Blackmon for me. I don't even know if I even agree with that statement that he's overrated. I am a big fan of this guy, and I think he's pretty properly rated. But when it comes down to it, he was honestly the best person I could see to fit that mold. He's definitely his career OPS plus is 116, so he's above league average in just about every year. He doesn't have the greatest defense, and he kind of has a noodle arm out there. So, I don't know. That's kind of the best fit I could fit for this topic for the Rockies. What'd you guys end up going with?
Yeah, what was your pick, Nick?
I actually went with Kyle Freeland, and I think was it 2017, I believe, was his Cy Young season. Like he got third in the Cy Young voting, but
I think that was 18.
18. Okay, yeah, I always get those years mixed up. I just don't think. I think people still think that he's going to return to that form, but I honestly don't think he will, just because he plays in Coors so much, and and the follow-up season in 2019, it wasn't much better either. So
Damn.
that's why he's my pick, overrated going into 2021.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't even know about this guy very much. 2.85 ERA and 17 wins playing in Coors Field. That's absolutely insane, bro.
Yeah,
That was that 18.
that's why I
Yeah,
believe
that's
it was a
2018.
fluke.
Okay,
Now, he
that's
is-
and then in 2019,
Yeah.
they sent him down for a while because he was so bad.
Yeah, 3-11 with a 6.73 ERA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, 2020 wasn't awful.
Yeah, I
4.3
definitely think it was a
ERA is
fluke.
pretty average for a Coors Field pitching there. He's only 27 too.
Yeah,
and he's
but
been in
if-
the league for 4 years, so who knows?
if there were more games this past season, the ERA would probably be higher because he'd be playing in Coors
Yeah,
more.
it's true. It's just impossible to pitch in Coors Field.
Yeah.
I feel bad for anybody who has
Oh,
to pitch out
yeah.
there.
Definitely.
That's insane to have an
Yeah, I'd
ERA
agree
under
with that.
3.
I really don't.
Yeah. Who'd you end
Okay,
up going
well, I don't like my pick anymore. I hadn't looked at the stats all that much, and I was saying John Gray because in my mind I was like, he's probably their number 2 guy right now, and I mean you can be a bad 2. Like, a lot of teams have bad number 2 starters, but I thought he was going to be decent. But his 2020, he threw 39 innings, only had 22 strikeouts, and his ERA was almost 7, and his WAR was negative .2.
Yeah.
And when you have a whip of 1.5, you're not going to be good, especially in Coors. So I had John Gray because I thought he was better than he is. But I don't mind the pick of Kyle Freeland either because in my mind, I want him to get back to that Cy Young-esque season,
Yeah.
but he probably won't.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Kyle Freeland's honestly.
Yeah, I feel the exact same.
Yeah. Now thinking back to it, Kyle Freeland's probably the best pick. I always look offense first when it comes to these overrated guys because they're more fun to poke fun at. But John Gray has a pretty good career behind him, though. He just had a really awful.
Yeah, his
2020.
his career, I think he had a really awful 2018 too. I think the
Yeah,
year that Kyle
2018.
Freeland was good, John Gray sucked. So
Yeah, 2018 he had a 5.12 ERA. So
yeah,
he was 12-9 though, so he was winning
I mean,
games. That scores field though. You can have a 12 ERA and win 20 games.
yeah. I mean, his career ERA is 4.59, and I don't like ERA, but that's not good.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
that
agree.
is good for the Rockies there. Kind of an interesting team. We are going to go over to the Giants next, San Francisco Giants. You got to save the last two teams for the best two teams for last, I should say. So Giants, I was kind of lost here. I actually ended up asking my Discord for it. Ended up asking them in the hot takes section. We got a Discord. You should probably join it. Just letting you know. Shameless plug there. Because there was a lot of guys in that team that did really well last year, but none of them are really overrated. Like Brandon Belt's not a guy who's overrated, but he had an amazing 2020. Mike Yastrzemski plays to what he's graded. Basically, he's kind of like properly rated. Alex Dickerson's another one, kind of properly rated. Wilmer Flores had a really big breakout 2020, but he's not overrated. The guy I ended up going with was Evan Longoria. It was a pretty unanimous decision from my followers, but I had a much harder time picking that up. Evan Longoria, just career-wise, especially the last 4 or 5 years, has been a very steady decline. But I feel like people still see him as a serviceable player in the MLB, but he's been at or below league average the last 4 years, 3 of those being with the Giants. Yeah, and just overall not really... He's definitely towards the end of his career. He probably doesn't have much left in the tank. He is 34 years old, but you just kind of hear that name, Evan Longoria, and you assume you're going to get... some good stats out of him every year.
I completely forgot that Evan Longoria was on the Giants. So that about sums up Evan Longoria right there.
Yeah, you don't think of him as a Giant.
pretty
You
much,
think of him
man.
as
No,
The
never.
Tampa Bay Devil
Especially
Ray.
not.
No.
Yeah, I mean, as a Yankee fan,
Yeah.
I just picture. I think it was 2008 where he hit that home run that went like a foot from
Yeah.
the foul pole because the wall's like 2 feet tall.
That didn't really affect
Yeah,
you guys.
that's-
It affected the Red Sox.
No, I know, but that's just what I
Yeah.
remember most about Evan
Most
Longoria.
hype moment in Rays history.
Wait, wasn't that 2011?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that was 2011.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or, you're right, it was.
Yeah, I think I watched that clip the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
there's like so
Well,
many YouTube
so
videos
I-
about that.
Yeah. It was like the craziest day, one of the craziest days in MLB history.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I ended up going with a guy who probably isn't really overrated, but he might have more hype going into 2021 than he deserves, and that's Donovan Solano,
okay.
because he was really good. He was really good in 2020, but he's below average at best career offensively. So I don't really see him being that same player again in 2021.
Okay.
I'll look up his. I want to back up what I say, so I'm gonna go back to his Baseball Savant page. But while Nick, you go ahead and tell us who you picked.
I actually agree with both of you, actually, because Evan Longoria, while he was an amazing player back in the early 2010s, now you just never hear his name ever, and he doesn't put up the numbers that he used to. And like Nolan said, that he's starting to get older, and probably doesn't have much left in the tank. So I pick him. But I also see your point about Donovan Solano having this breakout season, and I definitely think it was a fluke because I actually didn't look at the numbers beforehand because I wasn't gonna pick him, but I'd never actually thought of anything of him before. So like until this season,
Right.
when it
Well, like just
came out of nowhere.
look. If you look at his, all right, his page finally loaded, but his career OPS is 687, and that's including last year where he had an 830 OPS. But real quick, I mean, he's below average in exit velocity. His hard hit percentage, he's in the 30th percentile, so that's not very good. 21st percentile in barrel percentage. He never walks, and he's not good defensively. So, I mean, he'll definitely come back down to earth in 2021.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
I do like Donovan Solano, but the whole Giants team, 2020 was such a weird year for a lot of teams, and Giants was one of the super weird ones. I feel like the Giants and the Marlins are kind of like very similar in that aspect. A lot of no names on that team that kind of did really well, and then a lot of You either have old guys like Johnny Cueto and Evan Longoria heading towards the end of their careers, or you have young, unproven guys, or you have random stars like Wilmer Flores having a breakout season after being terrible for the Mets for all those years. So,
Pop quiz. How old is Donovan Solano?
34.
is he that old?
Nolan? What's your guess, Nolan?
Fuck, I don't know, 31?
Okay, he's 33. I just figured
Is he
you guys
that
would
old?
say something like much. Yeah, I thought you guys were going to say something much younger.
If Nick
just
didn't
because
guess that, I
this is
would
his
have.
first.
If Nick didn't
Yeah,
guess
just
that, I
'cause,
would have
like,
guessed way younger, dude. I would have guessed like 25, 26.
I remember when Solano was like on the cusp of like AAA MLB back when the Marlins had like a god squad but could never make anything of it.
Oh my god, dude.
So that's how I knew he was old, or not old, but like older.
Those poor
Because I
Marlins
knew
fans.
he played with like Stanton and Yelich and Ozuna and
Yeah.
Jose Fernandez and those guys. So
Only reason I guessed 34 was because I drafted his card in BR the other day, and I actually looked through the whole card. So
Dude, he's got a good card. He's got a
that's
good
what I
card.
remember. Like a
I
decent.
feel like
age.
every card's a good card when
definitely.
you're playing BR, though. We're talking about MLB The Show for those of you guys who don't play it, who are listening. But anyways. All right, let's get into the fun ones. Now, these next two are my hottest takes I've had all day. We're going with the Slam Diego Padres. The Padres are very weird because a lot of their players were really good last year that shouldn't be. But I don't know if any of them are overrated as much as this guy is. But I might bite my tongue because he had an MVP year last year. Didn't win it, but he had an MVP year. Manny Machado. For $300 million, let me pull up his baseball reference page because I was expecting him to be like absolutely elite. I know he's known for his defense, so he's kind of like a Nolan Arenado type of guy. But offensively speaking, let's see, the best season he's had, he's been league average. Let's see, 98 OPS when he first came to the league, 102, 110, 132, 108 in 2017 with Baltimore. That was the year before he ended up going to, 2018 was the year before he went to the Padres. But I don't know, 110 OPS in 2019, 122 in 2018, and I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he's worth $300 million to me. I feel like there's a lot of guys who are better than him who aren't getting paid like that, like Jose Ramirez, type of guys like that. So I don't know if that's a hot take. I feel like Tatis is almost overrated as well just because he hasn't been in the league that long, but there's a lot of guys I could see being overrated on this team. Manny Machado is just my hottest take.
yeah, I don't mind that pick at all. Nick is absolutely shook, but I wanted to pick. Well, I didn't want to, and I didn't. I thought about picking Machado or Tatis, and I will say that Tatis is overrated if he signs that 11-year, $320 million contract
That's kind of what I was
extension.
getting at, yeah.
Right now, yeah, so at the time of recording this, he hasn't signed it yet. It's just a rumor.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's going to sign it. If he does sign it, I will say that they're jumping the gun a little bit too much.
But hey, get that bag.
And, yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Hell
Get
yeah,
that
I wouldn't
bag.
do that every day of the week, but
Well, it's just crazy that overnight he hits 1-3. Well, he had a very nice tear at the beginning of last year, and then kind of had a so ended the year. He still ended with an OPS over 1,000. I think he was phenomenal, but
he got injured, didn't he?
Yeah, but he not for that long. He wasn't out that long though.
Okay, I couldn't remember how long it was.
I don't know. They're an interesting team. Like next year, I'm very curious to see what they end up with because Manny Machado needs to play like MVP Machado from last year, and so does Tatis, and the rest of the team needs to kind of rally around him like Slam Diego did for a week.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yep.
What do you got, Nick?
Who'd you go with, Nick?
It's funny that Nolan mentioned Money and Machado because my take is Eric Hosmer, as much as it hurts me to say. Because he got, I can't remember what the contract was.
It's big.
I think it was
I'll
more than
look it up real
100.
quick.
I think it was 150 mil for 8 years or something like that for the contract for the Padres. But ever since he joined the Padres and left Kansas City, he hasn't been the same player. Like his home runs went down, his power went down like crazy, and like the OPS is still relatively the same, but he still isn't playing. He hasn't been playing the way he used to be, and his defense went down as well.
Yeah,
But
real quick.
it hurts. It hurts to say, but
His contract is 8 years, 144 mil. That's a
Yeah.
lot longer than I thought. He's not going to be a free agent again until
Yeah.
2026, which is insane.
yeah,
Well, if
that's
you go back
crazy.
to,
I
like-
I don't think he deserved that contract for sure.
Yeah, he's never been like. I mean, he's always been a great defender. Like he's always been a Gold Glove first baseman. But
Yeah.
I feel like even when he was at the Royals, he wasn't that standout on offense, was he? Yeah, his best OPS plus season's
Well-
133, and the second
I mean, that
best.
is really good.
Well, yeah, but he has 122 in 2015, which was the year they won the World Series, I believe. And then every other season he's had until 2020 has been severely average, like 99, 102, 100, 94. So I don't know if that's a lot of money for a league average player. But I don't know. He has his moments like he did last year.
Yeah, he does. Like, he might not have the Gold Glove now, but I think it could come back with a little bit more work. But at the same time, I don't know if he's ever going to be the same player that he was, because there were a couple of years in Kansas City that he did pop off, but I'm not sure if he's past his prime now or not. But
Real quick,
we're gonna have to see.
the only two things that he's below average on, according to Baseball Savant, are walks and sprint speed, and no one cares about sprint speed when you're Eric Hosmer.
First
He's
baseman.
got really good exit velocities, really good hard hit percentages, really good barrel percentages, doesn't strike out a lot. So maybe he figured it out again in 2020, because, I mean, I remember like 2018, 2019, he just forgot how to hit the ball in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And in 2020, his stats got a lot better, which really surprised me. And I thought, man, Eric Hosmer's
Well, he was
back.
part of that offseason.
He's finally back.
They
But-
went out and signed everybody. Like, you remember that one year they got like
Yeah, Machado and
they had James Shields, I think. They
I
had-
don't think that was that year. That was before.
well, no, Machado and Hosmer were both signed in the
That's
same
one I'm talking
offseason by
about,
the
not James
Padres.
Shields one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Shields was signed by the Padres in 15, because that's when they got Craig Kimbrell,
Yeah,
too.
that was Kimbrel.
It was
that
after the
Justin
15
Upton.
World Series, wasn't it? Because or was it after the 2014 World Series?
2015 was the
It must have been
Royals.
after the 2014 World Series, because James Shields wasn't with the Royals
Okay.
in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
They pretty much got Cueto to replace
Right,
him, so
right,
he
right.
went to
I
San
remember that.
Diego. Yeah.
But the guy I ended up going with is, and I want him to prove me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong, and that's Jake Cronenworth, because I just like he kind of came out of nowhere. I think they are. He's one of those guys where they are expecting a lot out of him because they want to be as good as they were again in 2020, or they want to be as good as they were in 2020. And I almost went with Trent Grisham because he was another guy who like kind of popped off this year. But I ended up going with Cronenworth just because I think he probably won't be as good as he was.
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm pretty sure most of the Padres roster is overrated. I feel like after last year, Will Myers, Eric Hosmer, Trent Grisham, Tommy Pham, possibly Machado, possibly Tatis, just about everybody. Even their pitching staff, Chris Paddock, Dinelson Lamet's kind of a
Lamet.
wild card. Drew Pomeranz is kind of a wild card.
I won't think they're overrated if they're good again in 2021.
Yeah,
But they have to be good again in 2021
Yeah.
for me to say
the
that they're
Padres
They have to
scare
prove
me.
it.
They can go out and prove me wrong, but they kind of scare me in a bad way, not in a they're going to win the
Yeah.
World Series kind of way, like a what if they fall apart kind of way. Because some of these guys
I
are
mean,
known to
I
fall
got-
apart.
Yeah, I mean they could suck and I wouldn't be surprised, and I would be
Yeah.
sad because they're fun. But,
Yeah, I would be too.
I mean, Jake Cronenworth is better than I thought he was. In terms, like he doesn't walk, or he's average in walks. He doesn't whiff, 91st percentile in whiff percentage. Doesn't strike out. Yeah, I mean he's also super fast, 92nd percentile in sprint speed, and he's elite defensively.
I don't know if they're
So
going to
maybe-
but is he going to get someone's going to have to take a seat on the bench though. Whether that's Cronenworth, whether that's Kim, whether that's Grisham, whether that's Tommy Pham, Will Myers, Eric Hosmer, because they have too many players.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, I
you
agree.
just sit whoever's not doing that well, because realistically, right now you'll have either Kim at second base or Cronenworth at second base, and whoever's not at second is going to be in left field, and then you have Trent Grisham and either Will Myers or Tommy Pham.
If there's a DH,
So one of
they're
the- I
fine.
think-
But if there's not a DH,
But there won't be.
Yeah.
I really don't think there will be.
There won't be. There won't be at all.
Yeah.
That it just makes it a little bit tougher for them as a team. But
The nice thing is they have some
never know.
flexibility. So if someone is struggling, they can be like, go away and then come back in a couple days.
especially if someone gets hurt too, if they get injured for a while, then you got extras.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of they're trying to build their team like the Dodgers. How the Dodgers someone's hurt. Oh no, Enrique Iglesias is going to be our starting second baseman. Oh shit, Chris Taylor has to play today. That's unfortunate.
I don't know who Enrique Iglesias is, but I know
Enrique Hernandez. That's what I mean.
Hernandez.
Yeah, I don't call him
I didn't
Kike
even
because if
notice
I
that.
do, then Twitch bans the name. Enrique
That's so
Iglesias
weird.
is a singer,
Really?
by the way. He sings that Fiesta Forever song with Pitbull. What's that song? Baby, I like it. Baby, I like it. That's
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his
The middle
I don't know
school
what- how
tunes.
much war he's accrued singing with Pitbull, but anyways,
All of it. All the war.
yeah, right. Well, we were talking about the Dodgers, so let's hop into them. And I think I already alluded to my hot take here. Cody Bellinger, I don't know. I don't know if he's an MVP or if he's an average offensive player who plays really well defensively. MVP votes in 2017. He was 9th in MVP voting. He won Rookie of the Year, and he was an All-Star. With a 933 OPS, 143 OPS plus, batted 267, and hit 39 home runs his rookie year. Phenomenal. In 132 games, by the way. 2018, he played in 162 games, received 0 MVP votes, batted 260 with a 120 OPS plus and an 814 OPS, which is above league average, but it's not elite. 2019, enough said. Finished first in MVP, won a Gold Glove, won a Silver Slugger, was an All-Star, OPS over 1,000. It was a Mike Trout season. We're gonna call OPS over 1,000. That's a Mike Trout season from now on. And then 2020, very mediocre. Almost league average in OPS, 789 OPS. A little bit, 13% above average in OPS plus. Batted 239. Honestly, he wasn't that bad in the walks versus strikeouts department. He only struck out 42 times versus 30 walks. So I don't know if they were just pitching him a lot tougher because they knew he was a big threat, or if he was just swinging away. I know he changed his swing a little bit last year, so maybe he has some things to work on or go back to his 2019 mechanics. But I don't know. I don't even know if that's a hot take or not because Cody Bellinger is very inconsistent from what I've seen.
Nick, what do you got?
Actually, I didn't have a player for the Dodgers because I couldn't think. Well, it was nearing 6:00 and I had some other things to do.
At least he's honest.
But
He's very honest.
I'm gonna have to go with Cody Bellinger. Listening to Nolan talk
I'm
about
very
him and all that. Yeah, definitely with the MVP season that he had in 2019, the years before that, and you just see the stats that he put up in 2020. It's just atrocious. I like that word.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's muting himself.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah, I don't know. The Dodgers were just such a complete team last year. It's hard to think any of them were super overrated, but
Yeah.
obviously he was really good in the playoffs. He looked like Cody Bellinger in the playoffs. He just didn't really look like Cody Bellinger during the regular season.
definitely.
Now he could go out and prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, in 4 years, he's kind of like the Giants in the beginning of the 2010s, where in 2017 MVP, almost MVP, sorry. 2018 terrible. 2019 MVP. 2020 terrible. So 2021 he's set for an MVP or at least get some MVP votes.
All right. Here's
Yeah.
why you're both wrong. And I'm not like a huge Cody Bellinger fan, but I do think he's ridiculously good. Most home runs ever by a
Here
National
comes
League.
some hot takes.
Most home runs ever, by the way, from a National League rookie until Pete Alonso broke Aaron Judge's record. But anyway, beside the point, we're calling a bad Cody Bellinger season is still above average for any major league hitter. What'd you say his OPS was in OPS plus was in 2018?
2018 OPS plus was 120, which is good.
I mean,
I agree, it's good.
yeah, that's a 120 OPS plus is good. What was his OPS plus in 2020?
2020 90 or no, sorry, 113.
Yeah, that's still 13% above average, and you just called that a terrible season. If someone else had if Gary Sanchez goes out in 2021 and has a 113 OPS
I'm not going to
plus,
say he's elite. I'm not going to say he's
no,
the
I'm not
best
gonna
catcher in baseball. I'm not going to.
but I'm gonna get him tattooed on my damn chest if 2021
but
Gary Sanchez
when you're putting Cody
has a
Bellinger
113 OPS plus.
when you're putting him in a top 3 player in baseball conversation behind Mookie Betts, he's better put up Mookie Betts kind of seasons. A bad Mookie Betts season is better than a bad Cody Bellinger season. If your bad season,
Fine.
yeah.
I mean, I wasn't saying Cody Bellinger was like Mike Trout,
Yeah.
Mookie Betts conversation.
He's overrated in that
Probably
aspect.
There's some people probably would, sure, but I'm just like, we're calling an above-average Major League season a bad Cody Bellinger season. Which is
Yeah,
why
I'm
I
not
don't
saying
think
he's a bad
overrated.
baseball player. I'm just saying he's not on the tier that people put him on. I think he's overrated in that aspect.
I do disagree, and I hate the Dodgers as much as the next. I don't hate the Dodgers as much as Giants fans probably hate the Dodgers, but I'm not a Dodgers fan by any stretch. But I do think Cody Bellinger deserves the hype.
So Mike Trout's
just
better
because
than
he's
Cody
fun.
Bellinger, right? Mookie Betts
yes,
is better than Cody
facts.
Bellinger. Juan Soto,
I mean,
I would say, is better than
facts.
Cody Bellinger. I would
I-
say who else is better?
I don't
Juan
know.
Soto.
Cody Bellinger's done it longer than Juan Soto. Cody Bellinger plays way better defense than Juan Soto. Juan Soto's like 12 years old, so he can obviously be better than Cody Bellinger. But I would just, you thought it was a hot take, and I'm agreeing with you that it's a hot take.
I'm just saying,
because,
man.
yeah, no, I just disagree. I'm glad this is like the first time we like actually.
Juan Soto's
Just, like,
floor.
hardcore
Juan Soto's floor is currently 141 OPS plus in 3 seasons, which is one less than Cody Bellinger. That is his floor. 141.
All right. All right, no, that's fine. That's fine. Juan Soto's a better hitter than Cody Bellinger, sure. But play elite defense in center field like Cody Bellinger does.
I agree he's better
and then-
defensively.
and then-
He's a
and then you
5-tool
can-
player. He's solid.
Yeah, exactly. Juan Soto's
Yep.
not a 5-tool
I just
player.
think he's overrated. He's a little bit overrated. We could say that. he's not. Yeah.
Cody Bellinger is the greatest goddamn baseball player this planet has ever seen.
Yeah, right. That's man. These Dodgers fans, they're getting
Mike
to you.
Trout.
Who are you? What have you done with this
That's
Yankees
it.
fan?
No, I'm just saying. Like obviously I wouldn't like. I don't want Cody Bellinger to be good because that means the Dodgers are worse.
Yeah.
But he is good.
Oh, he's definitely
Like-
good. I'm just saying he's overrated.
I don't agree, but I'm glad
right.
we had this conversation.
All right.
I'm glad we had this conversation.
It's supposed to be controversial, man. That's
Yeah, I had to defend. Someone's got to look out for Dodgers fans because none of us are going to most of the time. So
all right, Nick. Give us another banger.
Yeah, true. I wouldn't.
Give us another banger. Let's get in a
Um,
fight. I want to.
Is it time for the Central now?
I believe so. That's all of the NL West teams.
Okay.
I got one hot.
The
take.
first one I'm gonna give to the Milwaukee Brewers. It's a little bit. This guy's a little bit weird. He wasn't on the Milwaukee Brewers for long in 2020, but he was still there, and he put up good numbers. But Daniel Vogelbach,
Really?
he hit how many? 4 home runs, drove in 12, had a 328 average, and an OPS of 987. But
Holy shit.
previous years in 2019, he hit 30 home runs, drove in 72 runs, I believe, but had a batting average close to 2 and an OPS about like 700, I think. Yeah, 780.
Damn.
And I don't know, he's just a weird guy. He's inconsistent.
Oh, super.
He hasn't shown that he can hit the ball a lot more than he should. He's not a good defender.
Wait, he had a 780 OPS in 2019, and he hit over 30 homers.
Dude, I remember him because
I
I'm
think
an
that's
Angels
what-
fan. I remember this guy coming up to the plate, and I'm like, what is going to happen right now? Is this man... Because he's scary.
Yeah,
he's a scary dude.
He's scary.
He's
I
a
mean,
beefy,
he's fun
brawny
to-
guy.
Yeah.
I like watching him.
He comes up to the plate.
Yeah, me too.
He comes to do 2 things. That is chew bubblegum and hit dingers. And I guess strikeouts, so technically 3 things.
Yeah, in 2019 he hit 30 home runs and had an OPS of 780.
Well, okay,
And he was an all-star.
He's in the 40th percentile in strikeouts, which isn't bad for like a home runner hitter like him.
Yeah, it's not like he strikes out
yeah.
a lot.
And he's in the 90th percentile for walks, which is crazy.
Yeah, he walked... Damn.
So he's actually not as bad as I thought he was going to be.
He just doesn't. Does he just get unlucky?
Yeah.
What's his BABIP?
Let me look that up real quick. But
Because
his career OPS his career OPS is
102.
741, and he had a 722 OPS in 2020. So, but hold on, let me look up his BABIP real quick.
Yeah, because statistically,
But the
he has
thing
the
is-
weirdest baseball reference page I've ever looked at. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but
Uh-huh.
the thing is with Vogelbach in 2020, before he went to the Milwaukee Brewers, he hit 2 home runs, drove in 4, had a .94 average, and a 476 OPS. When you compare that to the year that he had when he got traded to the Brewers in the same season, it's crazy inconsistent to me.
That's super. Yeah, because I remember when he got released by the Mariners. I also actually remember one of those home runs being hit off Dylan Bundy when he was throwing a no-hitter. Really specific memories I have of 2020. Yeah, man was a monster with Milwaukee last year. Like 328 for him.
Yep.
18 strikeouts, 8 walks, slugging 569.
Wait, real quick.
That man.
I told you he was a weird player.
He's very weird. I forgot he was
His
on the
BABIP
Brewers.
And he was
What's his BABIP?
His BABIP's not even high. His BABIP in 2020 was 237.
Yeah, that means he's just the unluckiest man on the face of the earth.
I mean, he's unlucky, and he's just above league average in exit velocity and hard hit percentage and barrel percentage. So I mean,
So he has the potential to be a decent ball player. He just doesn't.
actually
hasn't put it
unlucky.
together. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's unlucky.
he's just showing. Yeah, he's unlucky.
Nick,
yeah,
not to shit on you,
agree
but I
with
think
that,
you
yeah.
just found my underrated guy for the Brewers for our series whenever we do that.
I don't want to get you too excited, but he was an All-Star in 2019. Just saying.
Yeah, I mentioned that
I
earlier.
didn't hear it.
Like most people would forget about that. He was an All-Star with the Mariners.
I mean, someone had to be an all-star from the Mariners, so it
That's
makes sense
true.
that it would be him.
Yeah, exactly.
The Mariners
Yeah.
are YouTube's favorite baseball team. You know how many Mariners YouTube videos there are? A very large handful.
Really, I've
need to
never
look
been
at
on
those.
it before.
There's a lot. If you ever want to be thankful you're not a Mariners fan, go on YouTube. Yeah, it's a rabbit hole.
I used to hate the Mariners for signing Robinson Cano, but now thank God they gave that contract to him and the Yankees didn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're paying
Yep.
him this year, or anybody's paying him this year. Who's your pick, Michael? Did you already say?
Oh, the Brewers, right? I forgot. I never said who my pick was.
Yeah,
I
we
went down that
just got fucking sidetracked.
We just got
Daniel Vogelbach fan.
we just got
club
too
here,
crazy
bro.
with Daniel Vogelbach.
This is
Yeah,
the
we're-
Daniel Vogelbach episode. That's
Well, we're a Vogelbach pod. If we when we
real,
do
man.
when we do episodes during the season and Vogelbach goes deep, it's gonna be a good day.
it. Will be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But my pick is rookie of the year, Devin Williams, and I
Saw it in our faces.
I just don't know. I don't know if he's going to be as good again as he was in 2020. And it's my Central Division hate because the Centrals suck,
Oh, it's
especially
ugly.
It's an ugly division.
especially. I think I just said especially. Wow,
Especially.
because the National League Central didn't have a single team that was above average in OPS in 2020. And I'm not saying that Devin Williams isn't disgusting because I think he is. But
Is this the same division
he's
that
not
had
gonna
3
be-
playoff teams? Or was it 4? Was it 4 playoff teams? They had 4 playoff teams, didn't they?
It was every team except for the
Every
Pirates.
team but the Pirates made the playoffs in that division. The Cardinals, the Brewers, the fucking Cubs, and the Reds all made the playoffs. Some of those teams even scored runs. Sorry, Reds.
Poor Pirates.
The Reds and the Pirates scored the same amount of runs in the playoffs last year. That's a stat to pin on your.
That's a great clip.
It's a stat for you.
But yeah, I don't think Devin Williams is going to be as good as he was in 2020. I sound like an idiot now that 4 teams from that division made the playoffs, but no, I shouldn't say now.
Devin
it's
Williams,
not new.
dude,
It's old
he's
news,
he's a fun little ball player to watch, man. I don't know if this is a hot take. I think the Brewers are my favorite to win this division next year. I really think so.
I mean, they have 2 of the top relievers in baseball.
Well,
and
they're the
Devin
only
Williams
team
and
that's
Josh
not selling. The Cubs are selling. The Reds are trying to trade their best pitchers for some reason. The Cardinals just I don't know what the hell they're doing. The Pirates suck. This division's wide open. I think the Brewers are the only team trying to take it.
Well, not to like give anything away, but I did it. Go sub to my YouTube channel. Shameless, shameless ad right there.
yeah.
But I did a video, or I think it'll be posted on Wednesday, probably the same day this ep comes out. But I did a video on the National League Central, and I talked about the starting pitchers that were in the National League Central, and it was like Trevor Bauer, Yu Darvish, Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo, all these like some of the best pitchers in baseball were in this division.
And you're roasting
But now
their
Trevor
OPS
Bauer-
plus? And you're roasting the OPS of the league with all these good pitchers?
I told you that there were
Two
multiple
Cy Young
takes.
candidates? All right.
I told you there were multiple ways to look at it. But Trevor Bauer's gone. Or he's not going to sign with a Central Division team. Yu Darvish is obviously gone. He's with the Padres. The Reds are probably going to trade Sonny Gray and either or Luis Castillo. One of them's probably going to be gone by the time the season starts. For a bag of peanuts, and for some reason, I don't know why this offseason doesn't make any sense.
Luis Castillo's
But-
going to drive a package, though. He's young.
No, he will.
Sonny
Sonny
Gray
Gray
is
probably won't get that much.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. So they will probably trade Sonny Gray before they trade Luis Castillo,
Sonny Gray, the future angel.
depending on the package. But my point was the Brewers have two of the best starting pitchers in this division now. The best starting pitcher is obviously Jack Flaherty. But after that, you can make an argument that let's say Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo aren't in this division anymore. Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff are the second and third best pitchers in this division. So
you
the
wanna-
Brewers probably will win this division.
Yeah, Corbin Burns is very underrated. Yeah. He's a really good pitcher.
Nolan doesn't agree with me.
Well, if we want to go to my pick of
Central
Corbin
woes.
Burns being the most overrated player on the Brewers, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of Corbin Burns. Anybody who's ever watched my Twitch streams knows this. I just not a big fan of this pitcher here. He had a terrible 2019. He was great when he came up as a rookie in 2018, statistically speaking, with a 2.61 ERA. But last year he was just disgustingly awful. 1-5, or 2019 he was disgustingly awful. 1-5 with an 8.82 ERA. And I don't know, man.
How much did he pitch though? How much did he pitch in 2019?
He pitched in 32 games. 32 games. He only had 4 starts, so he pitched a lot of the bullpen. Yeah, and last year he pitched 9 games, or 12 games he pitched in last year. He started 9 of them. But yeah, last year he pitched in 32 games, had 49 innings pitched, and he's never had a season with more than 60 innings pitched. So if you see him over a full season and he's good, I will take back what I say about Corbin Burns being the most overrated pitcher the most overrated player on the Brewers, but he's never had a season more than 60 innings pitched, and he's been very inconsistent. If you look at his career, he hasn't been as consistent. His 162 game average is a 4.48 ERA with a 98 ERA plus, which is ERA plus is what's the average on that? 100?
I think it's 100.
Yeah, so it's pretty average. So I don't know. He seems like an average pitcher to me if you look at his whole body of work. If you look at his 2018 and 2020 separately without 2019 in there, he's a very good pitcher. But I don't know, man.
I was just gonna say, here's why you're wrong.
All right.
Or like you're gonna be wrong for 2021. I like how we're clashing so much this episode.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun. But out of all the categories on Baseball Savant, his only below average category is walks. He's top third in exit velocity, or top quarter, sorry, in exit velocity. Expected WOBA he's 82nd percentile. Expected ERA, he's 82nd percentile. His strikeout percentage is 96th percentile, so he strikes out a ton of people. He's got 99 percentile fastball spin and 95 percentile curveball spin. So he's got the good stuff. His expected numbers are better than his 2019 would suggest. So I do think he's going to be really good in 2021.
We'll just have to see. I just don't think he has the body of work to say that yet. But once if he stays healthy all next year and he has a good season, like I said, I might have to take that back. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think I said what I have to say. I'm just gonna keep repeating myself.
I already know what my hot take is at the end of the episode.
All right, I guess so. Oh fuck
Oh
you,
God.
man. This man's
All
gonna
right.
come out here and say Corbin Burns is gonna finish top 3 in the Cy Young Award. Not even gonna let him save it to the end.
Yeah, Corbin Burns is winning the MVP in 2021.
Yeah, there you go.
Just kidding.
MVP of my offense.
All right.
And that will be the show.
Move on to the Pirates,
Oh, it's a fun one.
the worst team in
Yeah.
baseball.
Congratulations. Can we get a round of applause for the Pittsburgh Pirates? Congratulations. The worst team in baseball. It's not very close. It was almost a sweep in every category.
They're very bad.
When you said that if the Pirates didn't exist, the Diamondbacks would be the worst team in baseball, the Diamondbacks are the least interesting team in baseball because we can give so much shit to the Pirates for being so bad.
Yeah, exactly. No one cares how bad the
True.
Diamondbacks
Yeah, that's
were.
true.
You just
Yeah.
forget about the Diamondbacks, but that's beside the point. Let's get back to how bad the Pirates
Yeah,
are.
that's true. My pick for the Pirates was Brian Reynolds. His rookie year last year, he hit 18 home runs. He drove in 66. I believe his OPS was average. I can't remember what it was. And he had a batting average of 302 or 303, something like that. But this year, 2020, he hit 7 home runs. He drove in 19. He had a batting average of 189 and an OPS of 632 in 55 games. Which, to follow up a rookie season hitting 18 homers and having a 300 batting average, that's really bad, in my opinion. I think he could definitely get better. He definitely has that potential. Like he can hit the ball. He can hit the ball easy, but he didn't show that in 2020. So hopefully the potential can come back in 2021 and be the best player on that miserable team. Sorry, Pirates fans.
We don't have to apologize. They already know.
Oh yeah, they know.
They already know. That's what I have noticed with the Pirates, though. A lot of these guys are pretty young, so I don't think any of them are going to be some breakout studs, but, maybe like serviceable veterans once they have a little bit more experience. But the thing about the Pirates is this offseason they've already gotten worse by trading away Josh Bell, who was probably the only hope they had of having like a breakout star next year.
Actually, Josh Bell was going to be my pick for overrated.
I'm a big
2021.
Josh Bell fan.
If he was still going in, if he was still with the Pirates.
I'm a big Josh Bell fan. I saw him in person at the 2015 All-Star game, at the Futures game. Them in scary. Nice little switch hitting first baseman. I really like him on the Nationals.
Yeah, so do
I think he's going to do well there.
Well,
Yeah.
with the problem with Pirates
He'll do well
hitters, they have with Brian Reynolds, and what protection does he have in that lineup? There's none. Especially because Josh Bell was really bad in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, I like Brian Reynolds. He probably is overrated because I thought he was going to be better than he was. But who's your pick?
Yeah.
I went with the guy that you really like, Colin Moran. Just because he was the only good player on the Pirates, technically. 115 OPS, he was above league average, which cannot be said about anybody on that team. But if you look at his career OPS is 102. He's not a great ball player. I just have to shut down any hope that the Pirates have of having a good player on their team, and just remind them that Colin Moran is.
I don't think they ever will again.
Yeah. I just a friendly reminder that Colin Moran is not good. He's just a decent player who is on the Pirates.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Take that, Pirates fans. All you hopeful Pirates fans who are out here. Oh, man. I just took them to Disney World and then popped their fucking balloon.
Exactly.
Poor Pirates fans, dude.
You had Mickey Mouse beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Not my pick, although you could probably make the case that he would be. And this is a guy who honestly hasn't been that good, so it's kind of hard to say that he's overrated, but I was really disappointed by him, and that's Gregory Polanco, because he came up, he was an elite prospect when he came up, and just never lived up to it. So I don't know if it's overrated as much as it is disappointing, but I don't think you can expect much out of Gregory Polanco.
Yeah, he's a disappointment, a big draft bust.
And that's all I have to say.
It's definitely both. Yeah.
The poor Pirates, even when they hit on a draft pick, he ends up being a stud for another team. like Garrett Cole, Tyler Glasnow, Austin Meadows. Like, even though they're
Glasnow's
not like the
overrated.
best, well, yeah, he's overrated. But if he was on the Pirates, he'd be the best damn player on the team.
I mean, that's
Oh, definitely, 100%.
They'd rather
No
have an
question.
overrated pitcher than what they have now. Than
Jameson
Chris
Taillon.
Archer.
He
James,
might come up. Jameson Taillon. I mean, he's another guy like Trey Mancini. We can't make fun of him.
Mitch
We're
Keller's
gonna get
exciting.
canceled.
Mitch Keller's
But-
exciting. I like him.
Yeah.
They still just.
I won't be surprised if Jameson Taillon comes out and is a decent pitcher.
But
if
hey-
he goes out and has a 3.5 ERA, I won't be surprised.
It's going to be the worst division in baseball, so you never
Yeah.
know.
That's
Go Pirates.
again.
NL
Go
Central
Pirates, get
definitely.
that.
That's
Yeah.
where my whole YouTube videos are out.
Yep.
So go check that out.
Get that 80 win playoff spot.
Yeah. Wait, are we done with the Central now?
No.
No.
We're not even
no,
halfway through it.
We have.
We're not
Holy
even
shit,
halfway
dude! We gotta pick this up. We're already at 50 minutes.
No, we're chilling.
We only did 2 teams so far in the Central. We got 3 more.
Holy crap! All right.
All right.
Let's go through this.
All right, for the Reds, I picked the player who signed with with the Reds from Japan. I think it was Japan. Shogo Akiyama. He signed for 3 years, $21 million contract, and he didn't live up to any hype.
Oh, yeah.
None whatsoever. The last 3 years, he had more than 170 hits in all the last 3 years. Hit 20 home runs each season, and drove in at least 65 RBIs each season.
Was this in Japan or Korea?
I think this was Japan. I think it was Japan. But he definitely didn't live up to the hype because this year he didn't hit a single home run. He drove in 9 RBIs, and he had an OPS of 654.
Hey, that's 9 more than they would have had. It's 9 more RBIs than they would have had.
Yeah.
That's 9 more RBIs than they had in the playoffs. Sorry, I had to put that in there.
That's true. No, that's fair. I looked up.
Yeah.
All right. So again, I'm a big baseball savant guy. I'm sure you guys already can tell. But
Oh, definitely.
We were making fun of J.P. Crawford earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Shogo Akiyama is worse.
Oh, God.
He exit velocity 5th percentile, hard hit percentage 5th percentile, barrel percentage 2nd percentile. That is fucking horrible.
He's no Shohei Ohtani, that's for sure.
And he can't pitch. Man,
He's no Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, man. Poor Shogo.
That's facts, man.
I went
Poor Reds.
with an unfortunate one. Let me pull up the stats to back this up. Why did I put Mike Trout in there? Mike Moustakas. Just because of how
yeah.
good people think he is versus how good he actually has been over his entire career, not just with the Reds, but especially with the Reds lately. Let's see. I didn't go to Baseball Reference, so this is my fault. He's never had an OPS anywhere near 900. His best career OPS is 845. His best slugging percentage.
I'm guessing that was in Kansas City.
835 was his last year with Kansas City in 2017. He was pretty good
At
in
least
Milwaukee,
we have that.
but last year, so he's a career 753 OPS, which is above league average, but barely. He's a 250
Yeah.
average career, 310 on base percentage. So he's just a good second baseman. That's what you should think of when you think of Mike Moustakas. You shouldn't think of a top 10, a top 5, a solid second baseman. You should just think of, I think he has more hype around him than he deserves. That could be because he's the best card in all of
definitely.
MLB The Show, but
facts.
yeah.
That's the only reason I like Mike.
yeah,
I like Mike Moustakas because he was with KC, but he's also an insane BR choice.
Yeah, when I see him in MLB The Show, I get excited. But so you also went Mike?
Yeah, I went Mike Moustakas too. I don't have anything else to add. You pretty much nailed it. So I think we can go on to the Cubs or Cardinals. What do you guys want to do?
All right, we're gonna move to the Cardinals. This man is also a Hall of Famer, Yadier Molina.
Wait, he's not on the Cardinals.
He's not on the Cardinals
right now.
He's a free agent.
Oh shit. All right, give me a second to think.
I can go with.
I'll give you.
or you
Um,
can go with yours.
Nolan, you can go.
No, I talked about Mike Moustakas. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I went with either Giovanni Gallegos because
Can't think of any.
I thought he was better. Like he had pretty good numbers in 2020, but not as good as I thought he did. He wasn't like an elite closer. But a guy similar to Gregory Polanco, but this guy is younger, so he can still figure it out, and that's Alex Reyes. Uh,
Yeah.
Came up super top prospect, as elite as they come, but he's been injured, hasn't really lived up to any of the hype, doesn't have any like the show credentials at all. So like, I think he's kind of a bust. But I mean, go out there and prove me wrong because I think he's still fun to watch.
I agree. I ended up going with Paul DeJong. I think it's DeJong, right?
Young.
I think it's
DeJong?
DeYoung.
I don't fucking
Yeah.
know. Don't put a J in there. All right. Anyways, he's
Dong.
yeah, right. He's only 26, but I don't know why. I think of him as so much better than he is. He's kind of he's the same as Mike Moustakas, just a little bit worse. He did have a 121 OPS in 2017, his rookie year, in 108 games. So maybe that's why he has such a good connotation around him. But last year, he had a 84 OPS plus and a 99 OPS plus in 2019, 102 in 2018. So other than his 2017 season, he really hasn't been a very good or even like a top shortstop in the league. Shortstop is honestly one of the most deep positions in Major League Baseball right now. As opposed to what it would usually be like first base or third base. So I don't know.
I think of DeYoung as like an underrated guy, but you kind of proved your own point because
Yeah.
I thought he was underrated, but he's actually overrated. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I used to think he was underrated, but now just listeting to that,
Yeah, I was kind of taking a
changed
look
my
because I didn't
opinion.
really see anybody who stood out to me on the Cardinals. So I was like, oh, let's look at Paul DeJong's stat line or whatever.
well, for the Cardinals, I picked the Canadian man Tyler O'Neill.
Oh, dude.
Um,
I know one specific person I'm personally friends with that was going to be very upset with that, but poor Austin.
Ouch.
Poor Austin.
But anyway, he hit 7 home runs, drove in 19, had a batting average of 173 and an OPS of 621. Like, there's not much to look at here in his stats from what I'm seeing, but his OPS dropped from 2018 from the 800s to the 700s to the low 600s. So I don't. Although he did win a Gold Glove this year, which is awesome for him, the hitting stats just aren't there for him.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that like Tyler O'Neill, but I just don't see
I mean,
it.
he's really
I think
fast,
he's just-
and he started to hit for power this year, which was
Yeah.
kind of weird. Because, like, in 50 games, he hit 7 home runs, compared to the last season, where in 60 games, he hit 5 home runs. So, I don't know.
The season before he hit 9 in 142.
Yeah, or in 61 games. But,
he's only 25.
Yeah,
I
61
thought-
games.
I
I'm looking
honestly
at
thought
plate
he was older.
appearances.
yeah, he's pretty young. I think he still needs to develop a little bit, but... And he's probably going to have a big role in
He's
that
got
team
room-
next
he's got
year,
room.
unless they sign somebody huge. So, if he gets
Yeah.
more playing time,
Honestly,
he could be pretty good.
this might be a hot take right now, but I think the Cardinals might go out and sign Jock Peterson.
I like that. I like that fit for them. They need some pop in that
I-
lineup. They were
I think
last
he would
in
work
home
in
runs
left field
last year.
for
I know
sure.
that. The Cardinals were last in home runs.
Yeah, and Jock would bring the home run number way
Yeah.
up, just because he can hit at least 20 home runs a season.
Yeah, on a bad
Easy.
year, that's 20. Good
So-
year, he could hit 40.
And they'd really need that left-handed bat because Goldschmidt's a righty, DeYoung's a righty.
Yeah. Goldschmidt. And,
If they re-sign Molina, he's a righty.
yeah, Goldschmidt and Jock back to back in the order would be lethal. I think Michael's
Yeah.
headset broke.
I agree, 100%.
Well, then he can't defend the guy in the Cubs that I'm gonna give a very hot take on.
Wait, real quick, sorry guys. My headphones just made the worst noise ever. Scared the living shit out of me. But I'm back.
What happened?
I don't know. I think they're dying, but I can't plug them in right now. So,
Okay.
but yeah. Anyway, real quick, I looked up Tyler O'Neill, and his sprint speed's 99th percentile.
Oh,
so
he's
basically
insane.
the fastest person in the league.
Yeah.
But everything else,
Yeah.
like his expected batting average, 5th percent. Like he strikes out a lot. So
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Well, in 2018, he struck out 57 times in 142, and then he struck out 43 in 157. So it's getting a little bit lower with more at bats, at least.
I gotcha. We kind of got to run through this one though.
All right, for the Cubs, pretty hot take, I think. My pick is Javier Baez.
That's a good pick. That's a very good pick.
People think for sure that he's like a top 3, top 2 maybe shortstop in the league.
Wrong.
But in my opinion, he's at least only top 10 because he's a good defender. He won the Gold Glove this year, and he's proven in the past that he can hit. But this year, going into 2021, let me pull up the stats right here. He hit 8 home runs, drove in 24, had a batting average of 203, and an OPS just under 600. And he struck out 75 times
Are we talking about Javier
in a
Baez?
60-game season.
We are. I'm having trouble with his,
Yeah.
his reference page because of all the different places he's played. Jesus. Yeah, but overall, he's just not
But yeah, Javier.
good. I'm sorry. He's amazing with the glove. I'll give him that. He might be the best defensive shortstop in all of baseball. It's either probably him,
I agree.
Lindor, or Simmons. But Simmons hasn't been great the last
Trevor
2 years compared to what he's usually is like.
I don't think
Isn't Trevor
gets
Story a
enough,
good defender as well?
Oh, Trevor
credit for that.
Story is
Yeah.
my favorite shortstop in baseball. I think he's number 1, but that's definitely a hot take. He's got power, speed. He does it all. I'm a Trevor Story fan.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
would love a Trevor Story jersey one day.
I can agree with
I don't
that.
remember what year
I mean-
Story came up. I think it was 17. But when he went deep like 4 times in his first
Yep.
few games
Against
I
the
just immediately
Diamondbacks.
called him.
I remember him.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yep, against
Yep.
the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
Like I've been a fan ever
Yeah.
since.
I think I picked him up in fantasy after he hit his second one. Absolute
Yeah,
phenomenal,
I mean, how
man.
could you not?
Yeah, Trevor Story's insane.
Ridiculous.
One of the worst.
He doesn't
in
get- he
my
definitely-
opinion, MLB The Show though. I cannot hit with him.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't
I'm a
hit
big
with
fan of
him
him
at
'cause
all
he's got
either.
the speed, he's got the glove, everything. This is a Trevor Story fan club now. We'll talk about him in the next episode.
Oh, definitely. I would definitely put him top
So
2.
I think this is a much hotter take than
sure.
Javi Baez because Javi Baez is kind of trash. But
Hot take.
Chris Bryant, man, I am not a Chris Bryant fan.
Oh,
Chris Bryant.
yeah, I agree with that
well,
one too,
I'm
man.
looking at his baseball reference page. It's literally a staircase. 2015 All-Star MVP, 11th in MVP voting, and won Rookie of the Year. Next season All-Star Game MVP, finished first. Next season 7th in MVP. Next season 0 accolades. Next season 2019 he was an All-Star, but didn't finish anywhere in the MVP voting. In 2020 he was awful. 206 batting average in 2020, 293 OBP, under 300's awful. 351 slugging, that's embarrassing, and 644 OPS with a 73 OPS plus. And this man's considered to be one of he should be an MVP candidate every year. So I don't have a problem in saying he's overrated. I will say his OPS plus, other than last year, has been really good. I think his career average in OPS is 134, OPS plus.
Wow,
But
that's pretty good.
I don't know, man. Career 280 hitter, career 380 OBP. It all comes down to his just regression in the last few seasons. But I don't know. I've never been a big Chris Bryant fan.
I mean, Chris Bryant's career OPS is 890 or 889.
889, yeah.
I mean, last year was just so bad. I mean, he was well below average in every single category you can be.
Yeah.
So he was just straight up terrible.
Yeah.
So
and
I
his-
would say that I don't know if that was 2020 fluke or that was over. I would say he's overrated. I couldn't decide between Javier Baez and Chris Bryant. I think
and
most of the Cubs team was
Yeah.
overrated. So
And he's not even that great
Yeah,
at
that's
defense
true.
either.
They were top 2 for me.
His career D-WAR is negative 0.9. So, needless to say,
he's just
anything
not good with the D,
under
man.
0. Yeah, he's not great with the D. He doesn't handle Ds very well.
It's a big D pod.
Yes, sir. Anyways, good segue.
Perfect segue into the Eastern divisions.
Yes, sir. Let's rip through
Yep.
it.
Let's get it.
Just say all of them and then end it.
Flash hot takes.
Just put it on the screen. If you're listening to this podcast, you have to go on your phone and just scroll through.
Yep.
We'll just put it as a description. Anyways, what you got, Michael?
Oh fuck! I
Yeah,
forgot that I was East.
This man's.
Sorry, my bad. I really forgot. Okay, let's start with the New York Mets. No, I know. I'm not even hosting this episode. I didn't even write the intro, and I messed it up. Uh, so with the New York Mets, I went with a guy they just signed. Um, I don't think he's overrated, but I wanted to, for the hot take troll, go with Lindor, but that's obviously just not true. But so I went with James McCann
Yeah,
because
I was.
he was the second best overall catcher in this free agent pool, and people were right, like saying he's going to be this great catcher. But I do think that the Mets messed up by not signing Realmuto, and like they're banking on McCann being actually good, because his career OPS plus is only 86, and his career OPS is only 694, and a 394 career slugging percentage is just straight up bad.
And that's why you go all out in your contract year.
Exactly. So I don't expect James McCann to be all that much for the Mets.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He was my pick as well.
I also picked James McCann.
I agree with everything you said.
There's definitely more options on this team, but I feel like James McCann's the one that sticks out like a sore thumb. It's not that he's a bad catcher.
Yeah.
He's just not worth what they paid him, and I don't think he's...
No.
Yeah, they had the money to sign JT Realmuto. There's no reason they couldn't have, so I think JT Realmuto. Maybe JT was just asking for like a $300 million contract or something. I don't know. I don't know what JT Realmuto's worth right now, if I'm being completely honest.
I think he's going to end up having to sign with the Phillies. I don't know. I mean, he might sign with the Blue Jays.
But the Mets were the only team that could afford to pay him whatever he was asking, so I'm curious.
Yeah,
I think he's going to sign with the Nationals, personally.
I'm not sure about JT.
We'll see.
I think he actually might end up in Toronto, because Toronto, they don't have many. Well, they have options, but they're just not good.
Yeah,
they have the best catcher in baseball.
Signing JT,
they have the best looking catcher in all of baseball in Alejandro Kirk. So.
Definitely. That's something that me and my buddy Eric, we always talk about. He's fine.
Damn.
He's fine.
This is an Alejandro Kirk pod.
Yeah, right.
This is a Kirk pod now.
Yeah. We have our guys.
Simping for Kirk.
But is that good for the Mets? You guys good to move on? James McCann's overrated?
Yep.
Yeah, James McCann's overrated.
All right, so we're going to go to the Atlanta Braves, and I have another catcher on this list, and that's Travis d'Arnaud. He was kind of a failed prospect for the Mets. He was a big hype guy. He was in the Mets system for a long time. They thought he was going to be as good as he has been with the Braves. He never was. His career OPS, I mean, he was bad at the beginning of his career. His career OPS is 737, and he's got an exact league average 100 OPS plus. The last year and a half, he has been good for the Braves, but he strikes out a lot. He's 25th percentile in strikeouts and 23rd percentile in whiff percentage. So when you strike out a lot, and I don't have the number, but I don't think he walks all that much. So that's not a recipe for success, and so I don't see him being as good as he has been the last season and a half.
Gotcha. I went with Dansby Swanson just because he was a first overall pick, and you expect a lot out of a first overall pick. And a career OPS plus of 87 is not really what you think you're doing when you pick a first overall pick. 2016 he came up and was pretty good. He played in 38 games his rookie year, 115 OPS plus, and was pretty damn good. But 2017 and therefore thereon, 68 OPS plus, 87 OPS plus, 89 OPS plus, and then last year he kind of had a breakout year with a 110 OPS plus. But still, career average is 87. That's just not good. It's well below league average. Defensively, he does have a D-WAR of 5.9 in his career, which is not terrible. Or sorry, 4.3 in his career, which
Big
means
D.
he's pretty good defensively. Especially last year, he had 1.4 in a 60-game season, which is very good. So I don't know. Dansby Swanson, I think, is a little overrated to me.
The one thing I will say about Swanson is that, I mean, you said his OPS plus. You talked about Chris Bryant being a staircase. Dansby Swanson's an opposite staircase. He's gotten better every year. So, I mean, he still has that potential to live up to that hype. But that could be proving your point. If Dansby Swanson comes out and is bad, then you're right, because I expect him to be good and he might be bad. So
We'll have to see, because he started off hot when he came up as a rookie, but then very steep decline. Like, I don't know how you keep your job and play 144 games with a OPS under 700. for 144 games. That's
I mean,
impressive.
he was back then. The Braves weren't as good, so he kind of it was
That's
his
true.
job.
It was his job to lose.
Because there was no one else to.
Yeah, he wouldn't have had as many bats around him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to go with Dansby Swanson as well. Yeah, he has gotten better every year, but like Nolan said, you expect a lot more out of a number 1 draft pick. But I definitely think there's potential for him to keep moving forward. But if he does slip one more time, like for another season, then I don't know if he'll ever be able to get back up because he needs to get into that rhythm of getting more hits, hitting for more power, getting better at defense. Just all the tools that he needs to be a good shortstop. He just needs to improve, and he needs to prove that he is the number 1 pick from his class. Like,
Yeah.
to make
well,
it
we already
legitimate.
talked about how shortstop's such a stacked position, so.
Yeah. I had to laugh though when you coughed.
It's hard to live up to that.
When you coughed right into the mic, you just killed at least one of our viewers.
Oh, is it that loud? I didn't hear it. All right. What do you got next for us, Michael?
So we're gonna go move on to the Phillies. Former Yankee manager Joe Girardi there, and this I don't even think this is a hot take. The Phillies are a 5th place team. They're gonna get last place in that division if they don't do anything this offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if they re-sign JT, they're still a 5th place team.
Honestly, yeah, they have no one other than Bryce Harper. The second best name on that team right now is Gene Segura. Not my pick. My pick is Zach Wheeler.
Hey.
Got a big contract, and I mean, he was good in 2020. I'm not taking 2020 away from him, but it doesn't strike out that many people. 18th percentile in strikeout percentage, 22nd percentile in whiff percentage. So when you're not making guys swing and miss, you're probably going to give up some runs. And his 104 career ERA plus isn't worth the massive contract that he got. So I'm going to go with Zach Wheeler.
I also went with Zach Wheeler, but let's see. He is currently making, to be a league average pitcher, $22 million this next year, $26 million in 2022, $24 million in 2023, and $23 million in 2024 to be a league average pitcher. So, kids, keep pitching.
Damn.
Keep pitching.
I'm predicting that his ERA plus at the end of this, if you just look at his Philly years, his ERA or his ERA plus won't be over 105 if he's lucky.
He's solid. He's just not elite. And the poor Phillies, signing Jake Arrieta was a big bust for that. How much did Jake Arrieta make? Because that man was fucking ridiculous
I think
with
he
the
just finally came. I think he came off the books this offseason, so I think his contract's up now.
Yeah, let's see.
Arrieta's?
I think so.
Because that man was elite.
All right, let's see the Royals sign him.
Yeah, right.
Maybe he can bounce back. Who
75
knows?
million guaranteed.
Let's get it done, Dayton Moore.
Yeah. Okay, so they declined his option, I guess, which was $20 million.
Yeah.
So he made $20 million last year to be worse than league average.
Yep, he's been bad for the Phillies
Wow.
since that contract started.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, he was injured last year. Actually,
I didn't know that.
He was injured the last 2 years, apparently.
We still got $20 million to do nothing.
Yep. So kids,
that's worse.
keep pitching.
Must be
You
nice.
pitch until you get paid, and then just make your arm fall off, so you don't have to.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely. All right, my pick for the Phillies is Scott Kingery. In 2020, he had a negative 0.8 WAR. He hit 3 homers, 6 RBIs, and had a batting average of 159 and an OPS just over 500. Whereas the year before, he had a 258 batting average and a 788 OPS.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I thought Scott. I didn't know.
I've heard a lot of hype about Kingery over Twitter, like in some pages, but I just looking at those stats, no, I don't believe it at all because there was the okay season in 2019, but he just couldn't bounce back, and I don't think he's going to in 2021. He can prove me wrong.
Yeah, if I hear Phillies fans talk,
just
I only hear
where
them
my
defending
opinion
Bryce
stands.
Harper. That's literally the only thing I've ever heard
they-
of Phillies.
Yeah,
They have a lot
that's true.
They have a lot on their mind right now.
They do.
And we should be.
Oh yeah,
Dude, they're the National
sorry,
League
but-
Angels. They're the National League Angels.
I feel bad for the Phillies and the Pirates.
Yeah, the Phillies are going to get fifth place.
The problem with the
It's
Phillies
not-
is they have Bryce Harper, though. I think, oh, dude, what if they trade Bryce Harper? Get a ton back.
I want them to. I want them to
Get
trade
a
Bryce Harper.
ton back.
They should because he's just wasting his career there now.
Bryce Harper to the Mets confirmed. Interdivision trade.
Well, yes, we are breaking news.
Yeah, right.
I remember when Scott Kingery was a prospect, and he hadn't even played, or he had played in like maybe a couple major league games, and they signed him to that really. It was a cheaper deal, but they signed him to that really long-term contract because they were so certain that he was going to be really good. He just hasn't been. So.
Nope.
I mean, they do have Alec Boehm coming up. That's a pretty big stud right there. I
Yeah,
like him.
Alec Boehm is a good third
That's why
baseman
they
for the
need
Phillies.
JT
I think he's going to be great in
or
the
some
future.
pitching. Yeah, but they're crying poor.
Alright.
Their owner's crying poor too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Where are we going?
So moving on to our fourth team in the National League East, it's going to be the Washington Nationals, 2019 World Series champs.
Okay.
My guy is a guy who I desperately wanted to sign with the Yankees last offseason, or two off seasons
Two
ago.
off seasons ago. I
And
know what
that's
you're talking
Patrick
about.
Corbin.
Yep.
That's Patrick Corbin. I think he can bounce back. This isn't as much as overrated as it is bounce back candidate because of a weird 2020. But he was below average in every category, like strikeout percentage, walk percentage, all of it. The only thing he wasn't below average in was walk percentage. Sorry, everything else he was. So yeah, hopefully he can bounce back. But that's my pick for now.
What'd you have, Nick?
For the Nationals, I picked Josh Bell. I was originally going to pick him for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but he got moved. It's for me, it's just the monstrous 2019 that he had the first half that season, but obviously he ended up slumping the last couple months of that season, and it kind of carried into 2020. Also, a weird year at the same time, but I don't know. His numbers were just way down from the year before, and I think he's crazy inconsistent as well. Like he'll have a good season, he'll have a bad season. He'll have a good season, he'll have a bad season. So hopefully in 2021 that kind of balances out again. Maybe he'll have a good season again, and continue that trend going into 2022 and 2023 and so on. But yeah, Josh Bell's my pick.
Okay. Yeah, I also ended up going with Patrick Corbin. I think that was, I don't know. After looking at his stats, he's pretty clearly overrated to me because I was under the impression that he was like an elite left-handed pitching arm. And even like overall, he's just kind of an average pitcher. Like his career average is 3.84, which I guess is better than average, but he seems like a guy who's going to have around a 4 ERA every year. Last year was a little bit high in 4.66. And he did go 2-7, but that's partially because the Nationals were one of the, if the Pirates didn't exist, they were one of the worst teams in baseball offensively. If they didn't have Juan Soto, I should say. But I'd like to disagree with the Josh Bell pick. I think just Josh Bell's a really good pickup for them, and I think with a lot more protection in that lineup because he'll be around guys like Kyle Schwarber and Juan Soto and Trey Turner. Especially if they sign another guy like JT Realmuto, like I think they're going to have a crazy good lineup. And don't sleep on Luis Garcia either, stud prospect who just came up.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great
Josh Bell?
for sure.
Luis Garcia.
Oh no, Luis
Josh
Garcia.
Bell's gonna be great.
We're a Garcia pod now too.
I love Luis
like it.
Garcia.
I hope Josh Bell proves me wrong. I hope he does.
I don't know. Pittsburgh is a bad situation to be in. You don't want to be in Pittsburgh right now, unless
That's
you're
true.
a young
That's true.
prospect.
You don't want to
trying
be
make it or
there.
something.
You hate it
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
So on our last team for overrated players is the 2020 postseason Miami Marlins.
The better than
They made the
Philadelphia
postseason.
Phillies.
That's what I meant. Yes, the better than Philadelphia Phillies, better than Chicago Cubs, Miami Marlins. This was an easy one for me, like by far, because of the season that he had, and that's Miguel Rojas. Was really, really good in 2020, but his career stats aren't very good. In 2020 still, his BABIP was 330, so that's not sustainable. And he was he was just as bad as Shogo Akiyama in barrel percentage at 2% in the second percentile. and 25th in exit velo. So I think he's just definitely not going to be as good as he was in 2020.
I ended up going with Corey Dickerson just because I don't know a lot of players on this roster, so it's really hard for me to see them as overrated. I guess you could also make a like Corey Dickerson, and I can't even remember the other guy's name. The power hitting first baseman they have over there.
Aguilar?
Yeah, Aguilar. Those are the only two
Aguilar.
guys I was like, okay, I feel like those are household names that most people know. Corey Dickerson had a pretty good career. He's averaged 284 batting average, 497 slugging, and a career OPS plus of over 118, which is really good. But with Miami last year, he had a 94 OPS plus, so below league average, 713 OPS, which is basically league average. About a 258. He hit up 7 home runs, which isn't bad, especially in that ballpark. So, yeah, I think Corey Dickerson's a little bit overrated.
Okay. Yeah. My pick for the Marlins was actually Jesus Aguilar. In 2017, he hit 16 home runs, drove in 52, had a batting average 265, and OPS of 830. And then he just fucking exploded in 2018 with 35 homers and 100 RBIs. But ever since then, he was in a slump. Like in 2019, he wasn't very good. But then in 2020, he ended up hitting 8 home runs, driving in 34, had a 277 batting average, which is all right, and brought his OPS back up above 800, which for me, it was a really surprising season to see because I thought he was going to continue his bad season from 2019. But he ended up proving me wrong, and I hope he does prove me wrong in 2021. But if he gets back on that same slump, it's going to be hard for him to get out. So he's my overrated player for the Marlins going into 2021.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
He's above average. Yeah, he's above average on like expected stats, like a batting average and slugging, and exit velocity. Hard hit percentage is a little bit below average, but
Yeah, the Marlins are an interesting team, though. It's kind of hard to say any of them are overrated because of how much of a good year they had last year.
And because most of them aren't underrated either.
Yeah, most of them are just nobodies that had a good year in 2020. So I am very excited for some of the young guys they have coming up there, though.
I wouldn't have known who Miguel Rojas was if it wasn't for MLB The Show, if I'm being completely honest.
Bro, don't sleep on Isan Diaz, man. Isan Diaz, ridiculous.
He's a BR god.
Didn't he take
BR god?
Didn't he take who did he take deep in his MLB debut? Wasn't it DeGrom?
Yeah, somebody big. I think it was
Yes,
DeGrom.
it was DeGrom. It was DeGrom.
Yeah.
That ball was hit to his dad, I think.
That's what I remember.
While he was doing an interview.
It super close to his family,
Yeah. And his dad was super hype. I'm like, oh man, this moment's so wholesome.
Love it. Yeah. So that's going to do it for us today, I think. So that's the end of our most overrated player on every baseball team series. We did 2 episodes, so we have the American League in another episode if you want to go check that one out as well. Thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us all on Twitter and Instagram at the DIR podcast. That'll be our @ it should be in the description or the title of this video, wherever you're watching it on. So thanks again so much for watching, guys, and or listening, I guess. I'll see you guys next time.